Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. We are back with Ailis Vann. So excited to speak to her live from Palmer, Alaska. She's a studio owner of Midnight Sun Yoga Center. How are you today, Ailis?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
I'm excited because, she's a beautiful woman. My first time talking to someone in Alaska, dream place, bucket list trip for me. And she's probably like, this is so mundane. I'm born here. Well, I don't know that yet, but we're going to get to know you on a personal one-on-one level first, Ailish, to find out everything about you. And again, then find out how did this passion come with yoga? And obviously talk about all the classes, the yoga, the healing classes, Pilates, and that she has to offer. So first and foremost, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm good. Yeah. It's early here, but I'm good. The
Okay.
daylight is coming back, so that's
Okay.
nice.
Well, what time is it for you? We are 11:10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. What are you?
We're 7:08,
God
7:08
bless you.
a.m.
Thanks for getting up early with us, Ailish. All right. So tell us a little bit about what you do with Midnight Sun Yoga and what type of studio it is.
Sure. It's a yoga studio, and we have been around since 2012, which seems like just 5 years, but it's actually like 14, I think, close to. Um, and yeah, we have classes 6 days a week and mostly yoga, but we do some sound healing as well. And then we also rent out the space to local people that are looking for a healing space. So we have massage rooms as well.
Oh my goodness. Well, before we dive further into the studio, I want to get to know you. Where are you from? Tell us your backstory, and I would love to hear. I know you have some mentors out there who inspired you. So give us a little of the who, what, where, when, and why. We want to know all about you.
Sure. So I was born and raised here. I've lived in Palmer for about 17 years, but I was born and raised down on the Kenai Peninsula, so about 4 hours south of here. If you look at Alaska, it's like kind of right in the middle and then down a little bit south. And I, yeah, grew up living the life. My parents had been here since my mom had been here since the early 60s, her family. And then we grew up gold mining and living up here. And I mean, it's been fun, and I haven't ever lived anywhere else, and I love it so much. And um, my passion for I love the outdoors. Of course, I think that's kind of a prerequisite to living here. That's what everybody says. But it is a magical place to be outside, and this is a great time of year. March is one of my favorite months because we have more daylight. We also have snow. It's not freezing cold. So it's pretty nice. It's a pretty good time of year.
I was just going to ask, what is the temperature currently there?
It's actually pretty warm right now. It's probably just hovering right around freezing, 32 degrees or so,
Ah, but the
which is warm. Like
sunshine,
it
the
is,
sun, yeah.
yeah, it's morning, so it's still a little chilly, but it got up to like 40 yesterday and it felt really nice outside. So
And you were close to Anchorage, right? The main
yes. Yeah,
hub.
Palmer sits about an hour north of Anchorage. So it's a quick drive into town. We call it town, even though we live in a town, but everybody calls it town.
Oh my goodness. It's exciting. For I hear Alaska, I think cold, right? But like, no, this is normal for you all, right? What about like, when you were younger going to school, is there like snow days or does the town close when it snows or is it always snowy and you guys just plow the roads really well or you homeschool?
I think that's a combination. So this winter we actually had like no snow. It's the lowest snow year that I can remember. And so there was, I think, only like maybe one or two canceled days of school, which my
Wow.
daughter was happy with. But when I grew up, we definitely had more snow days. But it was also more extreme. Like it was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad we're not going to school today. Sometimes now when they cancel, I'm like, we would have gone to school at this time. But I know that now they have to take more precautions and stuff, but when I was a kid, it was like, you're going to school.
And you have a daughter. How old? Do you mind me asking personal
No, I don't mind you
questions?
asking. Yeah, she's gonna be 10 next month. So I have her and then I have two furry kids too. So I have two dogs and her. So they keep me busy.
Oh my goodness, amazing. And well, we're grateful you're here. We're excited to talk more about the studio. And let me ask, how did yoga get introduced into your life?
Yeah, so I started yoga. The very first class I ever took was in college when I went to college in Juneau. And I took it just as an elective, kind of something to do, de-stress. But I had had chronic back pain after a sledding accident when I was visiting some friends and just could never, it would just bug me every couple of years. And so I took I had taken this class in Juneau and then moved up here and then injured my back again. And I was like, I need to try yoga because I felt really good when I was doing that class. And so got into yoga and then tried to get a friend to go with me. And she just kept bailing, kept bailing. And then I finally was like, I have to just do this because I really want to do it. And then I just started going to classes by myself, which can be scary, right? Like a new place, didn't know anybody. Um, and but I really wanted to do it. Like I knew that it would have a good impact on my life. So then I started going to classes, and then the owner of the studio that I was going to was saying, "Oh, we're going to do a yoga teacher training one of these days. Who's interested?" And so I had really liked it, and so that's how it started. Like I never thought it would be something that I would do, but it was, and it is, and I love it, and I find myself doing it every day, even though I don't, even if I'm not in a class, I'll do certain things every day to help it make things a little bit better. So yeah, I mean, it's been gosh, it's been I'm trying to think of when that first class was. It was probably 23 years ago when I was in school, so or in college. So and then I finally looped back and got to teach a class on the college at the college here. So that was like a full circle thing for me, which was really cool too. Teaching back the very first place that I ever taught. It just felt really cool a few years ago to get to do that.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for sharing. And now I want to know more specifically about this beautiful studio you have. So, when did you originally open it?
Yeah, so we opened it in 2012 and I had a business partner at the time, and it was kind of born out of the fact that the studio that we were both teaching at closed unexpectedly. And so we were new teachers, we were all excited. We're still building. Alaska's our population is not huge. So you kind of have to get people warmed up, and we don't just have this huge population base to pull from for classes. And so it
Okay.
takes a while to get your following, if you
Got
will.
it. Yeah.
And so we were both kind of building our following of people that liked us and all of that. And then all of a sudden we didn't have a space to teach in. And 14 years ago, we were the only game in town. And so we were like, let's open a studio, even though we had no idea what we were doing. And so we opened it in a month. Like we found a space, we put all the paperwork together, we got some investment money from our grandmas. Um, and then we opened Midnight Sun within a month. And I mean, Facebook was barely a thing 14 years ago, and so it was just like we put big posters in the windows of the space and then talked to all of our friends and really just tried to make it happen. So that's how it started. And um it's pretty wild to think about. Like we didn't neither one of us had kids at that point, and so it was easier for us to stay up until 2 a.m. getting the studio ready than it would be now for multiple reasons. But yeah, like that's how it started. And then she left the partnership. She and her family moved out of state. Gosh, I want to say like 9 years ago. And so I've been on my own since then.
Oh my goodness. And we're excited now. By the way, this Midnight Sun Yoga Center, do you also offer virtual classes as well, or this is only an in-person studio
It's only in person. Yeah, we did virtual stuff when everything was shut
during
down for COVID.
COVID? Yeah.
But it's hard. Like I know a lot of people do yoga on YouTube or stuff like that, but there's something about the studio experience, like when you're there and you can just, you know how it is, like when you're interact, like if you and I were sitting together right now, like it would be different than seeing each other over Zoom. But I think that in-person experience of yoga and being able to tell someone like, oh, hey, like make this little adjustment so you don't hurt yourself, or, just feeling that people's energy around you is just such a different experience. So, and people here, it's like in the wintertime, there's not a lot to do. And so people look forward to going to yoga as like a social time too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
And tell
no,
me
no virtual
more.
for us.
No, but tell me more about yoga. What attracts and draws people to yoga? I mean, mind, body, and soul, but give us some reasons why people should be joining and coming to class. Tell me, about, your experience. I know you've been doing this for almost 2 decades, I read, right? Is that possible?
Hmm.
You don't look old enough.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I want to hear about that. And then also about your certification. I know you're an instructor as well.
Sure. Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I got into it because of an injury, and that's what we see a lot of is people with injuries. They come in and they want to have their body feel better. They also come in because of massive life changes, whether they get a cancer diagnosis or they're going through some sort of breakup or death in the family or anything like that. Like they're just looking for that connection of probably the community feel, right, of a class and all the goodness that comes with that, but also just looking for something to feel better. And I think yoga is such a great option for that. I also see people start just running, like they'll just put on running shoes for the first time in their life and then go run and then they're sore for a week because running is hard. Um, but we meet people where they are and we have a class for everybody and it just people can the thing I love about yoga is that you can do as the instructor is asking, or you can just sit there and close your eyes and breathe like it's all yoga. So I think it's just such an accessible thing for so many people that um
Hmm.
yeah, it just and I mean you can take any class you want. You can go into a class that just completely whoops you and you're sweating and shaking because your body's working so hard. Or the class that I teach, we call it
Are
pillow
you?
fort nap.
Oh no, I was reading. Can you do gentle and restorative yoga?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was going to ask what. Yeah, tell.
yeah,
I want to know the specific types of classes that you do offer,
sure.
and what do you teach? And I would love to hear about some of the other instructors too.
Sure. Yeah. So, when I first started teaching, all I wanted to teach was hot yoga. Like, let's do this. Like, let's sweat and work our butts off and all this stuff. And then, like, I don't know what it was that shifted in me, but maybe it was having a child or just having the stress of all of my own life things. But um, now all I want to teach is gentle and restorative yoga because I teach it at night and at the end of the day, like, it's such a nice wind down opportunity and people leave they're like I feel like a wet noodle or I feel like I'm floating on a cloud, and not to say that you don't feel like that after hot yoga, but you can just go home and crawl right into bed and be ready to rest really really well. So I it's funny how you change as you grow up, but I just if you would have asked me when I started teaching yoga if I would have ever taught gentle and restorative, I'd have been like, no, it's so boring, like why would anyone do that? But it's not, it's a great, like, it's all great stuff, but I just prefer to teach that class now. So that's the only one I teach. I have teachers that teach everything else. So
Well, tell me about the rest of the staff and what are the type of classes that you offer at Midnight Sun.
sure. So we have hot yoga. It's not Bikram style. It's a heated class. We don't get super hot up here, as most people know. So our studio sits at about 88 degrees, which is, to be honest, quite warm enough. Um, I have taught in 105-degree studios before, and people, Alaskans, they stand up from doing like a forward fold, and they look like they're gonna pass out from the heat. So we try to keep it a good temperature to where you're feeling the benefits of the heat, but then we make them sweat through the workout that we're doing in that yoga class. So we have that one, and then we have just some hatha classes, some just basic flow classes that get people's bodies moving, but nothing super complicated. But each pose kind of builds on the last one. And we also have Pilates. We have a Pilates instructor, so Pilates is a popular class as well. Very challenging in its own way, but incredibly good for your body as well. And then we have our sound healing twice a month, which is another incredible opportunity for people that want to relax but don't want to do anything. I always tell them that sound healing is the best because the sound, like vibrations and stuff from the sound, is so amazing. And but then you can just lay in one spot for an hour. You don't have to even stretch. So that's a good opportunity for people too that want that chill time but don't want to move at all. So
Oh my goodness. All right, this is fantastic. And what days do you open?
we are open. The only day we don't have classes right now is Thursday, and that's because we rent the studio space to a private men's meditation group. So, but we're open otherwise every day of the week. We have a 5:30 in the morning class twice a week, and then most of our classes are in the evening because our demographics, like a lot of people work, and again, we don't have a huge population base to choose from or to pull from, and so we try to match those after work times to catch people on their way home.
Beautiful. And let me ask you this. I was reading on the website, besides yoga, you offer sound baths.
Hmm.
What is
Yeah, that's a
that?
sound healing, sound bath, sound healing. So
Yeah.
that's what I was just talking about with the
Oh, that's the same term. Okay, sound baths. Okay,
sound
thank
healing,
you.
sound bath. Yeah. but I have had people, I try to say sound healing because I have had people call and ask me if they need to bring a towel,
Well,
you know?
I'm
Yeah.
like, is this a separate thing? I'm so sorry. I guess for people
No,
not
it's
familiar,
okay.
like
Yeah. And that's
I'm
why I
not
call it sound
alone.
healing. Yeah, you're
Got
not
it.
alone at all. Yeah. So
Eh,
the first time somebody called me and asked me that, I was like, what? Oh no, it's not an actual bath. That would be an interesting class to offer, but yeah, sound healing. So you don't have to bring a towel.
and what do you love most about, your team, about your studio, about your people?
So the thing that I love the most and the thing that I brag about all the time is that everyone feels welcome in our studio, and we've always had that. So I feel my own experience going to yoga and not being the smallest person or not being the most fit person, and definitely not being the most coordinated. I feel like I've walked into studios and felt very intimidated and felt like I wasn't welcome, or everyone has super duper expensive yoga clothes and I don't, all of those things that are kind of like those self-conscious things. Um, Midnight Sun is not like that at all. Like I feel like all of us are so welcoming just by nature. We're not trying, it just is the way that it is. And we welcome everyone, every shape and size, every age. I love every class that we have has nearly every demographic of people from 16-year-olds to 75-year-olds, everyone. It's just wonderful. That's my most favorite thing about it. And people leave and they're like, "Oh my gosh, like I feel so good. I feel so comfortable. I feel, which is great. And that's what you want, right? Like we're already in a room together. We don't know each other. We're all stretching and you can hear me breathing. Like it's already intimate, so it might as well be as comfortable as possible. And I think that everyone does a great job and all of our instructors are wonderful humans. And I just love how much effort and love they put into the studio as well.
And how long are classes, by the way?
Most classes are 75 minutes, so just a little over an hour. Yep. So not too long, not too short.
Wow. And like, do you have like the same group of people? I'm assuming there's a lot of yogis that are, you all stick together. Do you also like go outside together? I saw some pictures online of doing outside yoga. Is that something that you do in
Mhm.
certain times of the year, or do you do it in the cold?
No, we've been asked to do it in the cold before. We've never done it. Like we've, yeah, t talked about doing yoga in the snow. Um, so we typically are in the studio, but in the summer times, if it, the last summer was pretty wet and cold, so we didn't have a great space to do outdoor yoga, but we have done it in the past, and we just find a good grassy area in town and do it, and it's great. But again, the weather is always the challenge and always the thing that is the deciding factor. The nice thing is that we have the studio as a backup. Like if we had an outdoor class planned and then it started raining, like we could go out inside. But
Hmm.
yeah, so most of our stuff is inside, unfortunately. But
But when you walk outside your doors, what are you seeing when you look up at the sky? Do you see the mountains? Do you see the snow caps? Like I'm trying to picture what Palmer looks like.
yeah, it's when you walk out of the studio, our studio is located right in downtown Palmer, and so when you walk outside and look to the right, if you leave the studio and look to the right, we've got this like nice big kind of our big mountains that we see every day that you can see the tops of over the buildings in town. So then if you walk around the block just a little ways, then you have more of an unobstructed view of those mountains. And yes, they do have snow on them right now. We got some snow last week, so it's melting off, but you can still see them. I can see them from my house too.
Oh
So
my goodness. Well, that's beautiful, beautiful. And being this our first show together, I just want to make sure we're covering everything that's important to you. What else do you want to add for today about you, about Midnight Sun Yoga, why people should come out? What would you like to add?
well, I think that kind of what I was saying, I think, it's super easy to just do it at home, like pull up a YouTube video or whatever, some app that has yoga on it, but there's so much more to it than just doing it by yourself in your living room. I have a hard time practicing at home because I have two dogs that want to do yoga with me, and then I'm like in a pose and I'm like, oh, I really need to clean my floor, or my daughter wants attention or whatever. And so
Mm.
I think that studio experience, that's meeting people, even if you don't want to, like you don't have to talk to people, but everyone else that's there is super friendly. But just being around other people, I feel like that is such an important factor that you can't get when you're doing it by yourself. And plus, you don't know if you're doing it wrong, and you can't ask somebody right away, like, hey, am I doing this right? Or it hurts when I do this, or hey, I really want to do this pose, or could you explain this more to me? Like, I just to me, that's just the biggest thing about why people should go to a studio um, versus just doing it online or um, not doing it at all, I guess. Yeah.
There's something about the in-person factor, clearly. I mean, and I'm sure you guys are all friends, right? How many friends have you met through the studio?
Yeah, so many, and
A
that's
lot
a
of,
good point too.
lot of
And that's the thing, like,
camaraderie, and yep.
yeah, yeah, and I would have never gotten into it if I would have
If
waited for my friend, but then I met friends there, so then had people to do it with while I
Yep.
was there, and have built some great friendships. And yeah, it's just, and I love I have a pretty solid group of ladies that come to my class every week, and we talk about gardening and we talk about all kinds of stuff, and I get to learn stuff from them, and it's so good for us teachers too. So
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for being here today. Pleasure getting to know you. Would you
yeah, same.
mind sharing how we can contact you, the website, social media pages, any form of contact? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah, so our website is midnightsunyoga.com, and then we are on Facebook as Midnight Sun Yoga Center. And you can call or text the studio phone number too, which comes right to me. So it's 907-723-5262.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure getting to know you today and wishing
Yeah.
you a beautiful day. Happy early morning. Get going, get in the studio, get warmed up, and thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Have a great day. Bye bye. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.